Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, text 4. Bhumirapo analo vayu khammano buddhireva cha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakrutirashtadha. So now Krishna, as he said, he will explain this complete knowledge about material and spiritual worlds and the source behind all of them, that is him. He first starts to explain this material world and the material energies. Bhumihi apaha analaha vayu kham. Earth, bhumi earth, apaha water, anala fire, vayuhu air, kham ether or sky. These five gross elements that we can perceive, as well as mano buddhir ahankara evacha. Mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the subtle elements. So the five gross elements and the three subtle elements. Iti yamme bhinna prakritir ashtadha. These are all called my 8 separated energies. Bhinna prakritihi. Why separated energies? Just like, for example, cow is giving the milk. Milk is the energy of the cow. But you can take the milk away from the cow. It can exist separately from the cow. Or let's say you recorded this voice and you're playing somewhere. I'm not there, but the voice is being played. That is my energy. That is my separated energy. So like that, this has Krishna created this world and he is existing somewhere else. Of course, by his energy, he is pervaded everywhere. So this become his separated energy. Bhinna prakritihi. So now Prabhupada explains in the purport that there are 3 Purusha incarnations of Krishna: Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. These 3 Purusha incarnations, they manage this material creation. And from the first Purusha incarnation, Karanodakashayi Vishnu, this material energy comes out, which is called Mahat Tattva. And the second Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, enters into all the universes. And the third Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, he enters into each and every atom and every spirit soul as the super soul, Paramatma. And Prabhupada quotes this verse which says, anyone who knows these 3 Vishnus can be liberated from material entanglement. So this material world is a temporary manifestation of one of the energies of the Lord. It is just like a cloud in the spiritual sky where there are Vaikuntha planets. And in the corner of the cloud, in the spiritual sky, there are Vaikuntha planets. And in the corner of the spiritual sky, there is a cloud that is sometimes manifested. And that is the material world. That is the material energy, which comprises of these Ashtadha, Bhumirapo, Analo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhir, Ahankara. And from these 8, other energies also come out. Like for example, from this Bhumi, Apaha, earth, water, air, fire, ether, the sense objects come out. What does it mean? Meaning, if I am able to perceive a form If I'm able to see you, if I'm able to see something, how I can see? Because it is made of earth. If it is made of air, I cannot see the form. If it is made of sky, I cannot see the form. Isn't it? Similarly, how do we get the taste from our tongue? The taste is because of water. Without water, we cannot perceive the taste in anything. How can we perceive the touch? The touch is perceived because of air. So the sense of touch is because of the air. How can we perceive the sound? Sound travels in the sky. Without sky, we cannot perceive the sound. And sorry, I told the wrong thing. With the with the light, we can perceive the form. That means the fire. And with the earth, we can perceive the smell. Punyo gandaha. Because in everything that we gradually progress, the lower element is also there. Anyway, so the from these gross elements, these sense objects also come. The touch, the form, the sound, smell, and all these things. So 5 plus 5 is 10. And from these gross elements also, the sense organs come. Like if there is a form, the eyes have to be there to see the form, isn't it? So the eyes are created, the sense organ. If there is a sense object touch, there has to be skin. And for taste, there has to be tongue. So, like that, the five sense organs are created. And then there are five working senses are created: the hands, legs, the reproductive organs, the voice. So, you see, you have all these 20 elements that came out, and there are this mind, intelligence, and false ego. And then the 24th is the contaminated consciousness. So, these Sankhya philosophers, they deal with these 24 elements. That's all. They are nothing but the energy of Krishna. They think there is nothing beyond this in this material world. It's just like if you see a big banyan tree, it has come from a small seed, or any tree for that matter. It comes from a seed. And once the tree comes up and you try to dig it out and you try to find the roots, you try to find even the origin, we all know that it came from a seed. But can we get the seed after the tree comes out? No. Katham uhopalabheta bijam. You cannot go and find the seed once the tree comes out. So the materialists or the Sankhya philosophers, they cannot understand with their mental speculation and analytical understanding by trying to get the proof from matter. They cannot prove it came from God. Because God is not made of matter. God is one created matter. Through matter, you cannot find God. So they say, oh, we cannot find God. Oh, this material world is for the enjoyment of the living entity. The living entity is the controller. Otherwise, why would it be there? It is there for us to enjoy. So there was this young man who became responsible, who got his job after a lot of struggle. And his father, on his birthday, gifted him a beautiful car. And this young man was thrilled, even though he couldn't afford the car because his job itself is not that great. But because his father gifted him, he took care of it very nicely. He was elated and he was enjoying. And He was hardly able to maintain it. And suddenly the father died. And after a few days, compounding the misery, he got a notice. He got some notices that he'll be there'll be a case on him and he has to pay off the car because his father happened to steal the car from the shop that he was working in. Not his car. He didn't buy the car. He stole the car. And they traced it, and now the car belongs to the son, and the son has to pay it back. And so much struggle he has to undergo. He doesn't have money, and he is punished with additional interest. And if he doesn't pay, he has to go to jail. See, this is exactly the situation. We think, or those who say, oh, this world is created for our enjoyment, these elements are there for my enjoyment. We spoil this environment like it belongs to us. We exploit this environment for our sense gratification, causing harm to fellow creatures, deforestation. Every activity of sense gratification is spoiling the environment. By meat eating, we are releasing these green gases. By our comforts in air conditioned rooms, we are making the global warming. By our experimentation, by our, the expansion in terms of whatever land for so-called data centers where there is so much deforestation. So many things are happening. We think we are the enjoyers, but actually, just like the son has to suffer and pay back with interest, this is either we steal it or the government steals it and gives it to us. It is a stolen thing. So Srila Prabhupada, one time he was walking with his disciples. I believe it was in Houston or someplace in US. So across the river where they were walking, there's a beautiful mansion. And the disciples were saying, Prabhupada, you know whose mansion this is? Prabhupada asked, whose? They said it belongs to Mr. H.L. Hunt. At that time, he was one of the richest persons in the America, if not the richest. And so Prabhupada said, oh, is it? That's nice. So he said, if you happen to meet him now, what will you tell him? And they said, oh, Prabhupada, we will tell him about the Gurukul that we have here, and we tell him about our activities. We are planning to do this, that, and you can get him to sponsor and get him to be our, you get the credit for doing that, get the blessing of Krishna and all that. So Prabhupada said, no, you should tell him that you are a thief. You are nicely utilizing all God's properties and not giving anything back to God. You are a thief. And of course, that was in a jovial mood, Prabhupada was saying. Like in another instance as well, one big businessman came to Prabhupada and he was manufacturing glass. He was making a lot of money. And so Prabhupada asked him, it was in India. He was a pious person. So Prabhupada was asking, what do you do? Oh, I manufacture glass and sell glass and all that. So how do you manufacture glass? You know, it is taken from silica and comes from the land and the nature provides it. And then Prabhupada said, that means you are stealing from God. So you are a thief, big thief, stealing everything from God and making. And then this man you know, he was a pious person, so he took it in his stride. but he was smiling. But then Swamiji, I also give donation. And then Prabhupada said, "Oh, okay, so then you are a small thief." So he wasn't letting him go off. So which is a fact that everything that we enjoy here, it's actually belongs to God. So it's not meant for our sense gratification. It is an opportunity for us to satisfy our proclivities for sense gratification, at the same time cultivate Krishna consciousness so that we can go back to Him at the end of this life. It is a concession given. Okay, you have these tendencies to enjoy sense gratification. Okay, you enjoy, but at the same time, you pay back, you show gratitude to God. If you don't, then you have to pay back. If you have to pay back with interest. So unfortunately, people cannot understand that. So people say, no, I won't abuse the environment. Sometimes people say, you know, I used to have my friend in college. So I used to practice Krishna consciousness, chanting and all that. And he was, later he became a devotee. It's a different story. But before that, he was not. So he was, when I was going to his room and talking about this, he was saying, I don't follow all this. And my philosophy is simple. I enjoy only what I can. I don't over abuse, or I won't hurt others. I'll take only what is minimal needed for my enjoyment. I always remain happy with what I get, and I won't hurt others. So you be happy and you also make others happy and don't hurt others. This is his philosophy. So people also say, oh, as long as I am by myself, I am not abusing. I only take what is needed. I don't abuse or exploit. What is the problem? So I take some little coffee, tea, and I can take a little bit of, alcohol, whatever. Even I don't drink alcohol also. What is the problem? So this material world is so complicated that for your sustenance, you have to work under somebody. Even you are not exploiting the nature. You all have to work under somebody, some company, some organization. And by nature, every corporate or organization, they have to get money by exploiting the nature, whether it is their buildings or whether it is printing paper, manufacturing products, killing the competition. Everything comes at exploitation of God's resources. Like this man is making glass. How do they get raw material? They may say, oh, I'm paying tax to the government. But how did the government get in the first place? So, like that. Also, to give an example, if somebody is occupying a apartment, leased apartment, and they say, no, I won't disturb others, but inside my house, I will paint the walls, I will break some floor here and there, let my kids damage it. It's okay, I won't disturb others. Others can live in happily in their apartment. I'm only changing things in my apartment. But the leasing office, will they agree it? Will they allow it? No. It doesn't belong to you. You are only supposed to use according to the rules and regulations present in the lease. So, Shastra, you have to follow the Shastra. What is there in the Shastra, you have to follow. Yagnardhat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. You have to perform yagna. Yagna means act of gratitude. So, the Krishna conscious life that is given to us, we are performing yagna. We are honoring prasadam, which is offered to Krishna. Yagna shishtasinah santo muchyante sarva kilbishaihi. All the kilbisha present in the world will be neutralized when you take the remnants of prasadam offered to Krishna. Otherwise, bhunjate te tu agham papa epachanti atma karanat. If you eat for yourself, then it is a sin only. You are eating sin only. Atma karanat. Bhunjate. Sometimes people say, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not committing any sinful activity. But according to Bhagavad Gita, eating vegetarian, you are being vegetarian also is kilbisha. Tetu agham papa, you are eating sin only. You don't have a right to take off anything from any plant or kill the plant because it is mother nature's. It is eating sin. You're for sense gratification, you're causing some damage, exploiting something. So it is sin. But when it is offered to God according to his regulation, then he takes that and neutralizes. So we are not just vegetarians. We are Krishna conscious devotees who offer vegetarian food to Krishna, thereby it becomes prasadam. So we are not advocating, of course, we do advocate vegetarianism, but much more than that. It is offering to Krishna, offering to God. We are not sectarian as well. We say offer to God, and if you say Krishna is a sectarian God, no, offer to the God that you worship. And Prabhupada was giving one class, and he was quoting this verse from Shiksha Ashtaka. The second verse, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Namna Makari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktihi. There are so many names of God, and every name of God is invested with complete potencies of God. You can chant. So Prabhupada said, don't think that this Hare Krishna mantra we are asking you to chant is from India and it's a sectarian. Why should I chant? If you have a name of God in your religion, you take that name and you chant. If you think that is the name of God. And Prabhupada asked a question, do you have any name of God other than Krishna? And somebody in the audience said, Jehovah. And then Prabhupada said, if you think it is name of God, you chant Jehovah's name. We are not saying you chant only Krishna's name. But what we are saying is you chant God's name. You offer prasadam to God. But if you don't know anything about God, his activities, his address, how to go back to him, you come to us, we can tell you everything about it. This is the purpose of our existence. According to Bhagavad Gita, therefore, in the purport, Prabhupada writes, this atheistic conclusion is false. What is that atheistic conclusion? That this world is there, these energies are there, is meant for my enjoyment. So these 8 energies are the separated energies of the Lord. And then Prabhupada says, even the Brahma Jyoti, which is the ultimate goal of the impersonalists, is a spiritual energy manifested in the spiritual sky. The impersonalist accepts this Brahma Jyoti as the ultimate eternal goal. The Paramatma manifestation is also temporary, all-pervasive aspect of the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. It's not eternal in the spiritual world. So sometimes people who are little more spiritual, they worship Brahma Jyoti. They want to go to Brahman, merge into Brahman. But that is also coming from Krishna. But if you go to Brahman, there are no diversities, varieties, and you'll fall down again and you'll become an enjoyer again. And the yogis who worship Paramatma, Paramatma feature also is this material world only. In the spiritual world, there is no Paramatma. That's what Prabhupada says. The Paramatma manifestation is not eternal in the spiritual world. Why? See, it's just like this. Say, you fought with your father. A small child, out of rashness, he fought with his father and went out. Small child, what he will do outside? He will get lost. And the father, the child is saying, no, I don't want to see your face. You don't come with me. And the father, even though the child hates him, the father is accompanying him wherever he goes so that he is not hurt. He's going and taking something from the shop. The father is paying for it. Unseen, is not seen. Because nobody will cooperate with the child. This world is a very unforgiving place. The child will be hurt. So the father is paying and maintaining and providing all the desires of the child and waiting when the child will look back at the father. This is called Paramatma accompanying the Jiva, satisfying all the desires of the Jiva out of his kindness in this material world. It's a very unforgiving place. Nobody cooperates. Even the nature, you cannot even control the material energy. Even to lift the hand, Paramatma has to sanction. Sometimes it may happen. It happened to me. I woke up in the night suddenly and I was scared. I was in deep sleep and suddenly I woke up because my part of the hand became numb because I was sleeping like this or something, some position. And the blood was not flowing and it was not moving. I was not able to even lift the hand. And I had to, do a lot of things to make the blood move. And then finally it was all right. So mm, even material energy we cannot do anything unless Krishna sanctions it. So he has to be there as Paramatma, sanctioning everything. But in the spiritual world, it is our house. When you are in the house, taken care by your sisters, brothers, mother, and relatives, everything is provided to you, you're pampered. Does the father need to be there at the house always with you? No, he'll be happily going outside thinking you are safe at the house. He doesn't need to accompany you. So that's why the Paramatma manifestation is only in this material existence. But the origin of Paramatma also is Krishna. The yogis, they think Paramatma is also ultimately Brahman, manifestation of Brahman. But ultimately, Krishna is the origin of everything, as Krishna says here in this verse. So the idea is that we recognize that fact and we cultivate Krishna consciousness and go back to Him. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada.